Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Linda Joy Myers, founder and president of the National Association of Memoir Writers. I'm here with my guest, Carla King. Welcome, Carla. Mhm.
Thanks, Linda Joy.
So glad to have you with us today. And I want to welcome also all of our new people who are new to NAMW. We're thrilled to have you. And you'll get to know all kinds of things about what we offer and what we do, and hope it really enhances your writing and learning experience. So let me tell you a little bit about Carla. There's a lot to say. Carla and I have known each other for years, so it's really cool that she can be here with us today. So, Carla is a memoir coach, an author, and a publishing expert, and she's dedicated to helping writers tell their stories and navigate the path toward publication. She's authored two memoirs and six books on publishing. And she has some special programs around teaching people about self-publishing, which is a topic that comes up a great deal here at NAMW. So just know that we're going to discuss today unlocking the power of AI for your memoir writing. And Carla has all kinds of other cards up her sleeve that can help memoir writers. Welcome, Carla.
Thanks so much, Linda Joy. It's been a pleasure to be working with you so closely this past year.
Yes, we did some classes together and we've got some new plans for the new year, you guys, so stay tuned.
Okay. So I guess I'll just share my screen and we will get right into it.
As you do that, I would like to say that it's Carla's fault that I now have used Chat GPT and Claude and some other things that she's going to be talking about today to do my own research for both memoir and fiction. And I was surprised. I was sort of like a lot of you, like, I don't know. So we're going to learn together. I'm still learning. We're going to learn a lot of stuff today and just see what you think about it.
See what you think about it. Yes, it's been so fun to watch Linda Joy's journey with ChatGPT and Claude and working with her. And we did have a course on the craft of memoir with a little help from AI that people very much enjoyed. So that will probably be a repeat performance, or we might just roll it in like I'm rolling AI into everything now because it's just a fact of life these days, whether you know it or not. So today, I just want to give you a gentle introduction to this, overviewing what AI is, a demo. I'm going to do some real demos about, how it's helped me with some of my real life examples to empower you so that you can do the same sorts of things. And then we'll have a Q&A. I've AI can be used in every single business and creative activity these days. But for us as memoir writers, we want to spark your creativity. It's a helper, right? Polish your prose, make you more productive, like get more words done in a day, keep the ball rolling, help you streamline tasks like blogging and writing newsletters and social media posts so that you can free up time to write more and to poke you when you have writer's block or you just stuck for the next scene, right? The next story. And to wrangle your research, right? It's wonderful for researching. And Linda Joy might want to say something about that later, because she's doing historical stuff too. And we all are, landing our readers into history and the sense of place. And the best thing about it is that you talk to it like you're chatting with a friend or an expert. And so there's no expertise required, right?
So it's so friendly and polite. And I always thank it and it says, oh, I'm so glad that was helpful to you and all this stuff. It feels like a person. Whew.
It is very polite, and encouraging as well. So what is AI? I have done presentations where I explain the large language model and the machine learning, and all of that stuff, but I'm not going to do that today. It's just a tool that humans have created to collect the wisdom that is on the internet everywhere, and help with that information helps you with tasks. It's a very smart assistant. It doesn't matter. I mean, you generate ideas, you refine your writing or enhance your writing, streamline so that you can just continue telling your story. And you can look up what, the whole technology is. It's endless talk about it. And you already use it. So how many of you might want to put that in the chat, like how many of you already use AI? Even search engines like Google now has Gemini, and that's built into Google. Microsoft has Bard. You may already use Grammarly or ProWriting Aid, or even a story software to analyze your stories.
Yeah. Somebody made a point that I just want to mention on our way. Barry says it always sounds like it's correct whether it is or not. And I'm sure you're going to cover that kind of stuff because, we can challenge it any time that we know that it's wrong, and it will reconfigure itself.
That's right. And if you talk to it too much, I can say it does this thing called hallucinations. So if you keep talking to it and you don't refresh the screen and ask it new questions, it can get confused. And if you're an expert in something, you know when it starts getting weird, and you just shut it down and start asking it in a new window. Cool. A lot of people have been using it. Yeah. So good. I mean, if you need a recipe with the stuff that you have in your refrigerator, use it for that. Use it for anything. If you need to make a spreadsheet, use it for that. Paid version, I want to encourage you to use that one. You'll run out of space, but it is also a better and a faster version. It also allows you to turn on the security, so nobody can see your work. It doesn't use your work to uh,
Eat it.
educate educate the world. I love Claude. I was using Claude for a while and it was better. And then it leapfrogged again. ChatGPT leapfrogged again, and it got better. So, all these tools always leapfrog each other. I think ChatGPT is going to remain in the lead. Claude was created by people who used to work at OpenAI that created a ChatGPT. So, so you look for writing help in that. They have a specific writing tool called Sonos that you may want to check out. But today it's going to be ChatGPT focused. Now, I know a lot of people have fears about it. Really, it's secure. You just turn off the learning model so that it keeps your words private, your ideas private. It will not replace your creativity. There are, what clickbait is. It's those the copywriting that you see on the internet that says lose belly fat fast. So what it's done is it's replaced those kinds of writers. Right. Chat GPT and other AI has definitely replaced a bunch of copywriters who work in advertising. But we are creative writers. We have our own stories. This is definitely not going to replace us. I've heard that it's too complicated. There are very complicated tools that you can use as business people called one called Perplexity, which became very important and rose to the top last year. And it is, but it does a lot of business stuff too. But really, it's so easy. It's as simple as typing a question. A question.
Well, I know you're going to go into this, but I tell it a little bit about what I'm writing about, and then I ask the question so it has a little context. And also, if you pay, doesn't it keeps what your previous questions were, and
Yes.
it knows what you're up to.
It does. I will show you that during the demo section.
Right.
The chat history and training is as easy as turning off that. You go to settings where your little picture is when you sign up, and data controls, and turn off improve the model for everyone. Okay. So it won't share. Simple, simple, simple. All right, so brainstorming. I'm just going to go through very quickly a couple of things that it can do, and then we're going to go right into the demos because I think we're going to spend the most of the time on that. You can just ask it, how can I improve this chapter about my grandmother's influence? And you upload the chapter and hit return, and it will come up with a bunch of ideas for you. You can say, how can I enrich this scene with sensory detail, with more character description? How can I write more cinematically in this scene? And you can go through and just keep prodding it to help you, and it will give you examples that won't necessarily be from your life, but you'll see how you'll get ideas from it. And then once you upload your book, your story, it knows your tone, right? It knows your tone, and it will take words and your style directly from your book and your writing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So again, you can say, make this more vivid, simplify this paragraph. I write, I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist, and I write for a magazine, and I had this 2,000 word article that the editor asked me for. And she says, oh, we only have room for 1,200 words. I used to agonize over that. And if you're a memoirist, you probably should be publishing in literary magazines or places where you're building your platform, right? And so I just said, make this 1,200 words, and it did a really good job. It left out a couple of things that I was really married to having in there, so I was like, no, you have to keep this part in, right? And so it kept working with me to make that happen, and instead of taking 2 hours, it took me 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yes, it's amazing. And you really are in control. You only have to accept the suggestions you like, and you can say, no, that's not what I meant, because we're giving it prompts. And you've heard this term, prompt engineering, right? Prompt engineering sounds very complicated, but really it's how to ask a question properly. And you've run into this with people, like some people you can't get to understand what you're saying, and so you keep rephrasing and rephrasing and rephrasing until that person gets what you're saying. And that can feel like, talking to ChatGPT can feel like that sometimes. It actually creates clarity in my mind. I'm like, well, I'm not asking this question right. Maybe I don't even know what my question really is. And it prompts me and gives wrong answers until I do.
Mm.
Yeah. And it definitely simplifies research, right, Linda Joy?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing 2 layers of research, one for my fiction book, and it had to do with what women were able to do in terms of enrolling in college in Illinois in the mid 30s, because my character later is going to get involved in the war and stuff, but she has to be an educated person. And how likely was it that she could even go to college? And so ChatGPT really helped me, I kept prodding, like you're saying, well, what could they major in, and blah blah blah. I asked a lot of questions, and yeah, because it's an era I didn't live through, so I don't have context for it.
Yes. I have a couple of examples that I'm going to show you about a story I was working on too. Okay, so the best thing about this is that it keeps your momentum going. You know how you get stuck and you just give up? You're like, I have writer's block. I got to come back to this later. you keep asking it, like, what else should have, does this story have a beginning and middle and an end? What is the beginning and the middle of the end? Summarize the beginning and the middle and the end, and it'll summarize your story for you and say, you've got a muddy middle. You've heard of the muddy middle, right? In the chapters. How can I describe teenage homesickness? It just nudges you and just keeps your momentum going. I have sat down to write. I have an hour, and I keep, I want to go to the gym. This was bad. And it's like I had 2 hours to go to the gym and go to the grocery store and, all that. And I gave all that up. I was so into it. I just worked on my story for 3 or 4 hours instead. It's a pretty addictive, and it keeps you going. And to start, you just have to ask it one simple question about your memoir or your chapter or your scene, right? It is, does you can even say, what do you think of this scene? You can even just say that. And it will answer you, or you can ask it a specific question. How can I make this more cinematic? You can experiment with those questions or those prompts, right? You can engineer those prompts. So don't be scared about those prompt engineering to brainstorm and even outline. And a lot of people want outlines. You have a whole book and maybe you haven't created an outline for it. You don't really know what the structure is. I'm going to show you in the demo how to do that. So AI is just here to help you keep going, and it does wonderfully at that. Did you want to say something, Linda Joy?
Just this little thing, like I am also using it to research the 60s,
Mhm.
and a lot was happening in the 60s. It was a while back. I did live through it, but my Lord, you know. And so I did a little research on my own, but I said, okay, I want to know the main songs that were playing and what was happening in the culture that we kept hearing about on television, like the marches and the race riots and all that. So it went woo, in 1 second, and came up with all that, which saved me a lot of time. I also research Wikipedia myself, but I use the ideas from ChatGPT to help me if I want to go off and do some other angles. So wow.
Yes, it's a real wow because it is so fast too. And it pings Wikipedia for you. You can ask it what Wikipedia says about something. So you don't even have to go to Wikipedia.
That's true,
I
huh?
know, yes. Okay, let's look at some examples. So craft, we're always working on our craft. We're dedicated to craft. We're writers. I hope, I always love improving my craft. So you can use it to ask any question regarding craft. I am going to give you these slides, and these are linked live. So you can later click for the example. Do you see this? It will be on every page, and it will take you to the page that we're going to link to here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can. Okay, so you can see my chat GPT in this chapter of my China Road book. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I've landed in a remote region of mountainous northern China in a motel that turns out to be a brothel. I'd like to inject a little bit more humor in the situation and any more craft suggestions that could improve the scene's narration and reflection. And then I simply pasted the whole chapter in. Okay, remember, you can look at this later.
Mhm.
It's so nice. You've already got such a vibrant and immersive narrative, blah, blah, blah. So, but you can see it says play with irony and understatement. It gives me an example. It gives me an example of a comparison for the time I slept in a bus in India. I never did that, but it's just giving me an example of something that may have happened. It lean into deadpan humor, exaggerate the small moments. It gives me some scene tips, character amplification. I have a character, a woman who was riding with me up until the border of Beijing and Hebei province. Everybody had to turn back but me. And she was amazing, and I wanted her to be more compelling. And without even, I knew she wasn't compelling enough. And it just, without me even prompting it, it knew that she wasn't compelling enough and gave me examples. It saw what my theme was. It looked at pacing. And it gave me ideas for a punchline. Okay. So that's just an idea of one little craft element, just a beginning. And of course, there are probably 6 or 7 scenes in this chapter. So I could take it scene by scene, scene 1, 2, 3. How can I improve this?
So, a question came through that I think fits right here, and that is many literary magazines warn against submitting pieces that used AI, but you encourage us to submit. You can say more later, but you're talking here about the way that ChatGPT can be used to develop your writing ideas, not to copy what it just wrote and throw it in your book, aren't you?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Right. Because it came up with an idea of, compare it to the time you slept in a bus and there was a goat in there. And that's never happened to me. So it doesn't know my other trips, but it's just giving me an example of the
Mhm.
kind of thing I need to include.
Think about, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's one on how to organize. Let me get this. So I uploaded a manuscript for earlier book that I want to re-edit and republish. It was basically loosely, collected blog posts that I had edited into a book. And so I asked it, please analyze the manuscript and make suggestions for restructuring to achieve commercial success in the adventure travel memoir category. All right. So it's going to the bottom. So excuse me. Okay, so it says analyzing the manuscript, I can offer restructuring suggestions to enhance its appeal in this market. So, you want to do some research to see where your book fits in. It could be a spiritual memoir, a healing memoir, and tell it what you're aiming for a bestseller in this market, right? Enhance adventure appeal. It gave me a lot of stuff, but later I looked at it and it will ask you, do you want to continue based on these suggestions or not? And I say yes, and it gives me suggestions for um, more restructuring. And I think I asked, so currently I have a problem with this book. The book's climax comes about halfway through the book, maybe, which is terrible. And so what I wanted from it was to think about summarizing the last half so that the first 2/3, could build to a climax. And so I asked it where I would structure, how I would structure that, and it did that for me.
Oh my
Now,
God.
I know some of you are asking about how, you, about the features of chat. You can see here that it has recorded all of my chats, right?
Mhm.
So I can actually search for a chat. I don't believe it allows you to do folders or anything like that yet.
Well, I end up copying what it gives me into my own folders on my desktop. I label it with what it is, and then I know where I can go back myself if I'm not on ChatGPT and find it.
Right. I don't do that. I like to have everything just in here. And oftentimes I will rename something so that I can find it.
Mhm.
Why my hand's up, but you can put my hand. Okay, lower hand.
There you go. Yeah, you
Okay.
get that
Okay.
better.
Okay. So you can see how helpful it is. I could also say, please just outline my books. Like if you're going to do a book proposal, you have to outline your book.
Mhm.
So, it's like chapter 1 is about this, chapter 2 is about this.
That's so hard. Oh, this would be so helpful.
It's so helpful for that because it's so hard to be objective, right? And a few years ago in my travel writing group, we were all helping each other outline our books, and this just does it immediately.
Wow.
Okay. Research. Oh my gosh. I'm writing a story about that's centered in growing up in rural North Carolina, in Greensboro, when it was mainly tobacco farms. I used to ride my little motorcycle through the countryside, through the tobacco farms, to the creek, to the woods. I'd stop by my friends who were working to say hi to my friends who were picking tobacco,
Wow.
or and sometimes we go into the barns, and it's just so, I mean, sensory detail. It smells so good in there. I don't smoke, but tobacco barns smell amazing. And there were all these squishy bugs, and there was red dirt. And so I was asking for a reminder of what that was like, because that was a really long time ago. So I asked,
Mhm.
and I received. Oh, this is motivational coach. What is that?
Yeah, there we go. There you go. There it is.
No, this was helping me with this presentation.
Okay.
Let me find that real quick.
You got a lot in there.
I have a lot in here, and I thought I could it was a while back.
Well, one of the questions,
There, there
while
it is.
looking, oh, you found it. Okay.
I did. Okay. So tobacco farming, the soil and landscape. Okay, it was red because it was iron rich. And I also remembered when it reminded me that it's really dry and dusty, and in the dry and sticky and slick after rain. So I'm including a scene about getting in trouble for dirtying my Sunday best clothes, and by sliding down to the creek, when I was 5 years old. It was one of my earliest memories. And I'm like looking at my mom going, what? It was the first time I had really known that I was in trouble, but I didn't understand why. And there's, of course, this white dress that she had made, everybody sewed in those days, right? And it was a beautiful, but it was absolutely ruined.
No.
And yeah, yeah. So it actually gave me a brainstorm. The smell, the tobacco setters phrases that I didn't know, topping the plants. I can use that. They're topping the plants, and hornworms. Tobacco worms are hornworms,
Ooh.
and they are gross. And when you pick tobacco and you come across them, they just squish them in their fingers. And it was just so icky. But I guess, my friends are like,
Maybe.
no, they get used to it. They get used to it. I mean, you know, think twice. Tobacco is primed. It's harvested in layers from the bottom up. So they go back and forth through the fields all the time. And the curing was hung on poles called tiers. I needed to know that term. And then, I mean, you can look at this too. It gives me sensory details and cultural notes. And also, I said, can you create some dialogue using the vernacular? And I said, don't go over the top or stereotype the accents, because one time I did that and it got very campy. So it actually did give me examples of conversations so that I could include the accent realistically in the story, and between two farmers and then between teenagers.
Mm.
Right. And it's set in the mid 70s. So yeah, can you see how helpful that is? And then motivation. Oh, this is what I clicked on before. Motivation, finally. If you're feeling like I'm not motivated anymore, you can say there's this prompt called act as. I want you to act as a motivational coach. I'm trying to finish my memoir and I get stuck, frustrated. It's your job to come up with strategies that can help me achieve my goal of writing 2,000 words a day. Positive affirmations, helpful advice, any activities to reach my goal. My first request is I need help motivating myself to stay disciplined. I hear you, Carla. Writing a memoir is one of the most courageous and rewarding things a writer can do, but it can also feel overwhelming, right? Here's what you can do.
Mhm.
Um, so it does the idea, make it bite-sized. The idea of writing 2,000 words feels less massive when you um, use a Pomodoro technique, right? The 20-minute, write for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, repeat it 4 times, and that's it, right? And it suggests that you celebrate. You can look at this later by clicking the links in the presentation I'll give you. Shift environments, write in a cafe, the garden, a different room, stand up and dictate, try writing sprints with a timer, write fast and sloppy. Um, Positive affirmations. Every word, I like this one. Um, the act of writing is where the magic happens, not the judgment. I
Mhm.
love that one. I really love that.
Good one.
And then it gives me a little pep talk. You're disciplined, creative, and strong. And then I say, I'm a morning person, which I'm really not, but this is for example only. I can schedule 2 hours. How much time will it take me to finish a draft of about 80,000 words if I write 5 mornings a week? I've already finished about 20,000 words.
Hmm.
So it tells me I have 60,000 to go. If I write for 2 hours, I'll write 10,000 words a week, and that will take 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Now, isn't that encouraging? That is not a lot of time, right?
Hmm.
So that makes me, does that make you want to continue writing when you know that you could actually finish it in maybe 6 to 8 weeks, a draft? Right. And so then I said, create 30 days of affirmations that I can print out and put by my computer. So it gave me them. And so it could, I can print them out and, pick one a day.
Wow.
So
Makes you want to get back to it.
it makes you want to get back to it. It really does. So more things it can do. Like I said, it can free up time because while you're writing, you probably are building a platform, right? So that people get to know you. And if you're not, it's a kind of a fun thing to do. And if you haven't, lucky you, because it's so much easier than it used to be. You can feed ChatGPT your whole book or your draft of your book and ask it to help you uh, with ideas about blog posts. I did just that because I'm thinking about creating a blog series because my book is about riding a motorcycle in 1998 through rural China before all the cars and stuff came and the roads. And so a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff in my book about, how people lived. But there's no room. Sorry about this. There's no room in the memoir to like put really dense explanations of, the road system and, the history of the transportation and all of that. So I used a GPT by somebody else, which you can find in this Explore GPTs area. You can find blog writing GPTs. These are free. You can find book cover design GPTs because ChatGPT works with DALL-E to create images. I'll show you some of the images it made for me. And so this GPT, I said, write a blog post. And the GPT that this person created started with a prompt, a content compass to make sure we're aligned on the approach and the audience. And it's making me think about who is my audience? Why do they want to know this? Statements that if we were in conversation, they might say, what they might be curious about, because I did upload my whole book. Remember my entire first draft or third draft. What did it look like in 1998? Why were there so few paved roads? What caused the development? Um, you know, so my proof is what I bring to the table. I was there, etc. Why listen to me? Because I'm, people want to know from me already. So it outlines this first blog post for me. And it's interesting. It did write some stuff for me. I was curious about how it would write and if it would write like me and my stories in the book. I gave it some more information about me, and I gave it some parameters. I want my blog post to be 800 to 1,000 words. The more specific you are with prompting, chat, or any AI, the better. And you'll get there. I forget all the time. They'll give me 5,000 words. I'm like, no, I need this to be 500 words. And it will always apologize, even though it was my fault. So it drafted the outline. And then I thought, why don't I? It actually wrote it. And I have to say, wrote part of it. And I have to say, it followed that. I found a lot of my original sentences in here. So it gave me a ton of stuff. You'll see it when you go through. It gave me more post ideas. There were a lot of blue trucks. And I was like wondering, what isn't the blue truck? That was the whole transportation system. I'd see a blue truck and I'd be like, I'd follow, I'd be lost. So I'd follow it to the next village. So I got really interested in all the topics. Sorry, I'm going so fast. I hope it's not making you seasick.
Blue truck part, that's great that you're doing something with that.
Yes, they're so interesting. And then I thought, well, the blue trucks got the goods from the train. So talk to me about the train system.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So then I said, I'd like more ideas on more blog posts. Can you supply a list of topics, including the two we just worked on, and a schedule for publishing once a week for at least 3 months?
Oh
Of
my.
course, 3-month blog post plan, right? The mighty blue trucks of rural China, the heartbeat rural markets, trains, farming life, village bicycle, a world without private cars. When I was there, nobody had private cars, only the very, very rich and the government people.
Oh.
Village architecture, the migration from west to east when the factories happens, food, industrial revolution. And then it gave me a schedule. And then I said, can you supply 12 more weeks? Why not? Right. So it kept doing it. So it's just such a time saver because that would have taken me so long to do on my own. Right. Can you see how that's helping you free up time to write blog posts and work on your book? The last thing I'll talk about is you can ask it to when you're ready, and you should be ready if you're writing a website or a blog, helping you write your author bio. And I've hyperlinked these in here. Your book description, define your categories and keywords, brainstorm email newsletter or Substack topics, Linda Joy, and social media posts. And so you see just this Amazon categories, it just through my Amazon categories here. And when I teach publishing and work with authors to self-publish, categories are some of the hardest. It's like, where does my book belong? And so the ability to just feed it into AI and ask it, it's bringing the wisdom of the entire internet to the choices here. Oh yeah, the last thing is that I was playing with book covers for my re-releases for my short stories, my American Borders and China Road. And so I asked ChatGPT to supply images of maps, maybe an icon of the country, and then a blonde woman in a motorcycle helmet, right? And or on the case of stories from elsewhere, where I was also on a bicycle, no helmet. And so I combined the images in Canva. I just put them in Canva and plopped the woman's head, image over that and put some typography there. And I got 3 book covers. Now, I don't know how if you like these covers or not. I need feedback on them, but I am giving them to a designer to check the reality of my idea, and also will write to my audience or in social media to see how they like these. But, you know, covers need to deliver on an emotional promise. And I think these covers deliver on the emotional promise of the book.
Yeah, we want to see you in China there. I mean, I've read your book, so I know the
Mhm.
another version of it, but you know, it is very much a oh my gosh, what's going to happen next kind of book. This is what you want, and I love the fact you're getting more help from ChatGPT on finishing it.
Thank you. Yes, it's really motivating. I have a handout for you with these kinds of techniques here, a little more information. And again, when you get this presentation, just click to grab it. It's interesting. Canva actually, when you put the link in, it actually puts the Google Doc in the Canva presentation, which is interesting.
Wow.
And then I wanted to talk about some more things that I'm doing and that Linda Joy and I are doing. Yesterday, I presented your Unstoppable 2025 book publishing plan. A recording will go out. So if you want that, let me know. And I'm happy to give it to you. You can email me. What's the best way to let me know, Linda Joy? I'll just give my email address,
Yeah. Yeah.
Carla at carlaking.com.
Mhm.
And I'm teaching the book publishing master course. It's a 6-week course that I do every year in January. And then Linda Joy and I did a craft of writing a successful memoir course earlier this year. And that is now offered on demand and self-paced. And that's delivered in my writing and publishing circle, which
Put
is, sorry?
put the links in.
Okay.
We can also
Um,
add it to the email that goes out.
oh, great. Okay. Thank you. And that has also free and paid classes and memberships, including a free writers tech hub. So that, you know, that kind of analyzes the different tech tools that you need, including website software and book funnel versus story origin. I don't know if you know what that is, but helpful stuff. Did you want to say anything else about classes that are coming up, Linda Joy? In
Yeah,
this?
well, you and I are going to get together next week and create, with the help of ChatGPT, uh, some new courses for the spring, and we'll be offering those here everywhere, but through NAMW as well. So, you know, because what we both see is how much I mean, I teach a long course with Brooke Warner, Write Your Memoir in 6 months, and it's a
Mhm.
fabulous course, lots of craft, lots of stuff. But people also need short classes. And so I'm really glad we're going to be doing a series of short, focused classes to get people going and you know, once you finish a class, you have a sense of accomplishment. So yeah, that'll be really fun. And all these other courses that you have are fabulous, and I hope everybody checks them out.
Oh, and here's the links. I forgot I included the links.
There we go.
So we'll put that, yeah. And now it's just time for your questions and comments. I'm really interested to, you know, hear if you're completely blown away, excited, still a little nervous, what you're going to use it for.
Yeah, want to hear from you. Let's do the whole gallery here.
Okay.
Okay, folks, hello, hello. Hope you had fun with that. I imagine you have some questions. We also have some questions in chat too. Uh, but let's take a live question first from Joan.
This is going to sound, excuse me, this is going to sound so stupid, but
Oh,
it really is because this is all very new to me. I have Grammarly and I bought the updated one. But is that the same as chat or is that a good different program?
Mhm.
right. It's a different program, and Grammarly's great. I like Pro Writing Aid as well. It's for a different process. ChatGPT can copy edit your story, but it really kind of takes over. It'll rewrite it. Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid that's when you're finished and you've tinkered with your story, or blog or email. It will show, Grammarly shows you copy editing errors and allows you to fix them. That's not a good use of ChatGPT. And that's not a stupid question at all, Joan. It's all, because AI is in everything now. Microsoft Word will do much of the same thing, but Grammarly and ProWriting Aid are much more robust than your spell check and grammar and copy editing tools in Microsoft Word. So it's good that you purchased Grammarly. It's a very helpful tool.
But what I want to know, chat is a separate program.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I was confused about.
Yes, it is a separate program completely.
Oh, because I was trying to research something yesterday and I couldn't get it on my phone, but I think I was asked Siri, but I think I could get it through chat.
Yes, yes.
You probably can. You
So,
can.
yeah, Carla, people are asking about paid and the paid version. One of the questions had to do with folders, but another question has to do with, are there any word count limits
Mm-hmm.
requests? And really with free chat GPT, there is a limit. I ran into the limit like a week ago and I was only working for about 10 minutes. And I went, oh, I thought I'd bought it already. I had bought Claude, but I hadn't bought ChatGPT. So you hit a little button and there, boom, there you go. And so then you can just chat away. I mean, for a long time. There's no limits to what you can upload. Is that correct?
That's right. There are limits. And I think the privacy is, could you turn the privacy on with the free version?
No,
Yeah.
it's only with the paid version.
Yeah. So it's $20 a month. It's so worth the $20 a month. You can make it private. You can upload your entire book. You can access the GPTs that are already made by other people. And yeah, just go to town, go forever. It's a completely amazing uh, tool that gives you unlimited access.
Yeah, great. Let's see what Betty's question is. Hi, Betty.
Hi there. I find that for research, I like Copilot because not only does it give me, research type of thing, but it also gives me the references. And it has there the references. You can go back to it and find the article or the blog or whatever. And I find that most helpful when you're looking at, what happened in 1950, and it gives you all of the things that are point out. Sometimes it's newspaper article that it found it or some journal or something. And I find that very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, Copilot, and there are other tools that's really specialized in professional use, like you're using it, Betty. So good for you for because it can cite your sources. You can ask ChatGPT to cite sources.
It does often. It does cite sources. When I've been asking research,
Mhm.
link to the original article. At least last week it did.
Not always, but it will when it easily finds them. In fact, I was doing research on the 2025 models of this motorcycle that I was writing about, and it cited the different. I asked it to cite the magazines where it came from because I'm writing for a magazine, a motorcycle magazine, and I don't want to, I don't want to copy somebody else's story, really. So it's great for journalism, and it's great when you have any academic writing or historical stuff that you really need to make sure it's right, because I could write a blog post on World War II and very poorly researched, and that's part of the internet. So you don't want my very poorly researched blog post or story on World War II. You want to cite academics and trusted publications. Some of those publications require membership. So it won't do that. It won't go behind firewalls.
So one other question on chat, then we'll take Andy's question. Which of the paid ChatGPT plans do you recommend? There's Plus, Pro, or Business?
I would use the cheapest one, and when you run out of capability, go ahead and
Get the next one up.
get the next. Yeah, I mean, Plus is $20 a month. Pro is $200 a month. So, right, it
Plus does a lot.
It does a lot. It does voice chats. It'll allow you to upload videos and, create summaries and transcripts. It gives you access to Sora, which is their new video generation tool, AI video generation tool, that you can say, make me a video of a chipmunk eating pumpkin pie at the Christmas table, and it will actually make a video of that. So yeah, it's getting crazy. So you don't need $200 a month tool as a writer.
Andy, what's your question? Andy, you have to unmute. Andy?
Sorry, I always forget to do that. Mine's related to research as well. Not now that I know that chat gives sightings, but my question for you, Linda Joy, when you ask for songs from the 60s, can you trust that they're coming back? Because that's probably not cited anywhere. Can you trust that they're giving you those songs that are appropriate? I mean, that's the question I had.
Well, yeah, I did trust it, but I also had done other research, and I also lived through the era. So really not hard to find, compatible for something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to do further research, not just accept those kind of things that they give you.
Well, I just knew the song, so I knew it was right. But I mean, yeah, if you have any questions, you can do further research.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have some other questions in chat. How about the chipmunk video? Sounds great. So we will be sending out a recording, everybody. At NAMW, everything we do is recorded. And I think some other questions have to do with, will it give you a book summary, chapter, elevator speech, query letter, book proposal type information?
You can ask it, definitely ask it for those things, and work with it to create all of those things. There's nothing like, using your own words, but if you have uploaded your memoir is your own words. So it already knows your style. So you can say, use my writing style. You could also ask it to write in a formal tone. Say I'm writing to an agent. This agent, yeah, I would look at the agent's site, input their requirements, and say I want to approach this agent. This should be a formal request versus an email. I often will double check my emails with ChatGPT, and I'll say needs to be more casual or more to the point. So ask it what kind of voice to use. I have a question here from Carolyn. Thanks for this. And we'll go to Carol here. Once you go beyond the first steps with ChatGPT, how long would you say it took to get you to your current expert level? Thanks. Great presentation. Thank you. Thank you. It doesn't take any time at all. I mean, it's just once you see what it can do, it just encourages you to keep diving deeper, and you'll very quickly kind of correct your prompts, right? Oh, no, I meant this. No, I meant this. And then your next interaction, you'll have that in your mind, and you'll learn better how to talk with it. So I don't think it'll take very long at all, a week, a day.
You learn from how it responds and what it might leave out, or you go, I did leave out this thing. I should have told it X and didn't. Therefore, it went off in a different angle. And no, it is actually addictive. Warning, it's addictive. Carol Agostino, hi.
Hi, nice to see you guys again. Just wondering, I tried to get on that Zoom yesterday. I put it in the chat and we couldn't get on. Did you say you are sending that link?
I will send it. I'll get the link today from Stephanie, and I will send it to Linda Joy so she can include it in the email
Great, thank you so
that
much.
you get. You're very welcome. I know it's like, okay, I'm sorry you couldn't join live, but
Yeah,
That
they
was
were
the
getting,
publishing. Yeah, that was the publishing.
right.
yeah, they were getting ready to send 911 out to see if you were okay. We thought something happened.
I'm sorry. Yes, there was an old link that I'm sorry about that.
Tech
No
glitches,
problem.
tech glitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are worried about hallucinations. Can you say more about
Oh,
that?
yeah, hallucinations. Listen, you can tell when it's hallucinating. And it usually happens when you start asking it too much different stuff. So my recommendation is to concentrate on one thing at a time and then open a new window for another thing. Um, so if I start asking it about, what are the 2025 motorcycles over 600cc that are good for travel? And then I go through all and I'm like, give me the gas tank capacity, give me the tire size, give me all this. And it's giving me all of that. And then I say, what are the best roads for traveling in California? And I go, how about Europe? What are the best roads in Europe? And then I say, what motorcycles are in Europe? And it'll just start, it's like, there's too much. It's too much. It's taking my thread and it's trying to keep me on topic. And because I'm not on topic, it gets off topic. Right.
We're
So
hallucinating. It thinks we're hallucinating.
yeah, yes, actually, that's very insightful, Linda Joy. It probably does. So one topic at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't let the right brain get too out of control over there.
Yeah. And you'll know, right? You'll know. I wrote an article about travel motorcycles that were great for traveling. And it mentioned the Harley Davidson Sportster. And because if I were a clickbait writer I would have included that and my reputation would be toast because there's no way the Harley Davidson Sportster is a good long distance travel motorcycle. But I know that because I'm expert in the field, so I could use it like that. So you do have to use your own knowledge and expertise, right? You're not a copywriter for a firm that's advertising stuff.
Yeah. Time for one more quick question. Jolene, do you like to ask your question? Can
Yes,
you?
thank you.
Okay.
My question is, you can say you can put a whole manuscript in. Are there any limitations on how large that manuscript can be? Like if you have 100,000 words, can you put
Yep.
that in?
You sure can.
Wow.
Yep.
Because-
Upload it in text format, Word. It has sometimes a hard time with PDFs, but I'm sure you have a Word file. So yeah, have fun with that. Isn't that great? Because you can actually create a custom GPT on your own. And we'll be talking about this in the next craft class. And I'll show you how to create a custom GPT that takes your own materials and you can always reference that when you're writing. So we'll upload everything that you've got, say, here's my style. I want this GPT to help me craft and copy edit my books and my stories. And you'll always use that GPT and it will always use your style and your words and your, everything that to craft your blog posts and all your stories.
That's going to be in the new class that Carla and I are going to offer in starting in, I don't know, something like February.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, that'll be a fun workshop. I'm really looking forward to that because there's something so magical when we workshop it together and you do it and you share your results and it's very exciting to see the different ways that people use it and ask, and it really inspires each other to be more creative. And
in our first class, we blew some minds. It was so funny. Are you kidding me? And so everybody.
Yvonne, I'm talking about clickbait. Yvonne, I don't mean to diss copywriters. I'm talking about those clickbait copywriters that for ads that, these short, crazy ads that get you to click on them. Copywriters, totally respect all the copy editors, copywriters who also use AI ethically to help you hone your work.
Hey guys, gotta go. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Carla, for blowing our minds a little bit more today.
Thank you too.
Everybody, and keep writing and have fun playing around with ChatGPT, and look forward to seeing you all in the new year. And thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Unmute and
much.
say goodbye. Yeah, unmute and say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Happy holidays.